This is Kim Meyer, host of Choose to Rise. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Hey, it's Baxter Colburn here from Public House Media. Did you know that we just added a store here at Public House Media? No, I'm not talking about a grocery store where you can go buy apples or bananas or peanut butter, which are all fantastic, especially when peanut butter's on all of those. Anyway, we've added a store here at Public House Media so you can not only come and represent your favorite podcast network, but also represent your favorite shows as well, too. Just go over to thepHmedia.com and look in the top right corner where you'll see the button that says Store. Click on that and you can search through all of our great products. Or if you go to our Facebook page, Public House Media, you can see on the left-hand side a tab that says Store. All of our products are listed there as well too. It's the new Public House Media store. You don't want to miss it. It is fantastic. Buy some of that great swag to support your favorite shows and to support Public House Media. Check it out today.
What's up, everybody? This is Christian Heimel, host of Press Row here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Press Row, where we talk about the biggest issues in sports with the analysts, experts, and reporters who cover them. No nonsense, hard-hitting interviews on the sports topics you're talking about. A new show comes out every single Thursday. And don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Press Row. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Yo, and hello, everyone. Welcome to Hollywood Happy Place. I am Jerry Strauss, and man, I'm excited for this show. This is what Hollywood Happy Place is all about. It's all in the title, people. Hollywood, because today I'm talking to Holly Robinson Peete, one of those people whom we have grown up with, knowing, loving, enjoying on the small screen, on the big screen, not to mention all the cool things she is doing right now, philanthropically, is that a word? She's doing good things for good people with her Holly Rod Foundation, of course, with her husband, NFL icon Rodney Peete, and she's also still a big part of our TV landscape with her reality show that focuses on her family life. We talk about all that and then some. We talk about the past, the present, the future. We cover it all, man. So it was a great conversation. Before we get into it, as always, thank you so much for being here, tuning in, downloading, streaming, bootlegging. Is that still a thing, that term? Bootlegging? I don't know. I remember back in the day going to New York City and being so excited because I would have the opportunity to be approached by bootlegging vendors on the street with bootleg copies of all the latest movies and CDs. That's the kind of thing that I was into back then. And now I wish I had time to watch all those movies, but I'm glad I've got the time to spend with you, to spend with cool people like Holly Robinson Peete, and I'm glad you have the time to be here, whether it be through Apple, Google, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, etc., etc., etc. Thanks so much for doing so. Please continue to subscribe, rate, review, whatever you can to help show that you are enjoying what we're doing here at HHP. Without further ado, one of your favorites and mine, Holly Robinson Peete on Hollywood Happy Place. Hello?
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you for doing this. I know your time and your schedule is crazy. So
yeah, it is, but it's good. Thank you for talking to me.
Oh, no problem. We actually did this once before. I think it was for Philly Man magazine.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I have not gone back to look. So if I repeat anything from there, if anything sounds familiar, sorry. I just didn't.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. We should get started though, because they're gonna pull me soon.
Absolutely, no problem at all.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
so, I mean, as we're saying, things are crazy right now. What is a day in the life like these days for you? Because you have so much going on.
Yeah, well, this morning I got up at 4 a.m. and
Oh,
I had to take my blind dog outside, which is my dog is now blind. She's almost 13 years old. She's a Newfoundland, which is a huge breed, and
oh
she's been
no.
our autism service dog for
Mhm.
13 years, and now it's our turn to take care of her. She was the game changer in RJ's life and helping him. These autism service dogs are unbelievable what they do for these kids. And so now she's blind, and I have two other dogs. So my morning starts with my four-legged kids, and then I got the two-legged kids up, and then literally hair and makeup came. I got ready, ran over to Access Hollywood Live. Now I'm at home at family, and then in between, just talking to you. So it's
I'm
crazy. And then from here, I'll go home. I'll rip my makeup off and eyelashes, and literally just get into my fundraising, which is my big, my other baby is my Holly Rod Foundation,
exhausted.
which raises funds for families impacted by autism and Parkinson's, and it's a big job. The philanthropy job is huge, so I'll do that, and then might squeeze in a birthday dinner. It's my husband's birthday tomorrow, so I'm
Okay.
trying to come up with something for him. When you have as many kids as I have, like a big family, it's always somebody's damn birthday, right? Like, oh, whose birthday is it now?
And if you're one of the
So,
parents, you're lucky if anyone even remembers at that point that it's your birthday.
right, exactly. Like, oh, and then the twins, they have their birthday the same day. There's all that. So birthdays and stuff, and then like I'm gonna, just get ready do a fitting for a big event I'm going to on Saturday. It just never ends. And then Sunday night I'll be right in front of the TV tweeting Meet the Peetes, and lining up all my social media and tweeting. And we do this whole campaign called #TweetThePeetes. And so I'll be for 1 hour on Sunday night. I'll be in social media world, and then get ready for a whole nother week of fun.
It's so weird because, and you've got to feel this way too when you sit back and think about it. We've known you for so long, and we've known you from shows that, TV shows and roles that we've loved. I certainly remember you. I was obsessed with 21 Jump Street back in the day. And, of course, so many people love Hanging with Mr. Cooper. But it sounds to me like your career is crazier and more nonstop, and your life is crazier and more nonstop now. Just you being you out there in the world and people getting to know you and your family more so than any of the roles that you played even. Is that something that you feel?
Oh, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, when I was doing Cooper and Jump Street, I had no kids. And so I was, the kids just bring on a whole nother level of you having to think, your brain you go into mommy brain, and that's hard to that's why that work-life balance is so difficult. So that was like, I thought I was busy then. And now I'm looking back going, oh, what did I do with all that free time? But yeah, like I should have done more with that. But I'm really just blessed to be working. I mean, I'm in my 50s. Let's be real. I'm an actress in this town, and, I'm working on several projects. I mean, I love being busy. I'm insane because that's just kind of how I roll, and I like being busy. But it's really just a blessing to have someone say, hey, we have a project for you, and so I think that's probably what really makes me feel so blessed about being, a part of the Hallmark family, is that I just feel like they just take care of you. It has like that feel of an old studio where they have, people that they use over and over again, and you have relationships and you work with the same directors, and it feels like a giant family. I have been on every single network and done series for every single network, and I've never gone to an upfront or a party like a Hallmark Channel party. They treat you so well.
Yeah.
Everybody knows your name, but it's not like you don't feel like, oh, well, okay, your show's one and done. They feel like once you're a part of the family, they're going to find other things for you to do. And it feels really good. So to be my age and to have the 30 years behind me of TV, and to be at a place where I can work on projects I'm proud of, that my kids are proud of, and I can actually work with my kids. It's really cool.
And it's crazy just talking about the Hallmark thing, because I mean, the social media attention that these Hallmark movies and a lot of the stars like yourself get strictly because of these of the Hallmark appearances and movies. I mean, it seems like Hallmark is now like where all the cool kids are going and what all the cool kids are watching. It's like its own like new resurgent thing that you're a part of. I mean, do you feel that like buzz about the projects that you work there? I mean, the world is really embracing the Hallmark movie these days.
Yeah, they are. And I think one of the reasons why is it's just a very stressful time in this country. I mean, it's just, no matter where you fall, in life, somewhere you've got an opinion about what's going on in this country, and it's stressful. And television and entertainment really helps take you away from that. And what I love most is being the very first family docuseries ever on Hallmark Channel. That's a big deal. They've never been in this genre, mainly because this genre sort of has a stigma. But this is a show about family. It's a show about raising kids, and especially having a special needs kid, and running the Holly Rod Foundation. All the things that we do as a typical family, but also being able to document that. And it's a very authentic show. And it's a new genre for Hallmark Channel, and it's a big deal to be able to be breaking into that genre with them, and especially with the integrity that this channel has. So it's fun watching everything change. And listen, they have so much success here that they didn't have to go into this genre, but they really wanted to reinvent it, and they wanted to hallmark the genre and make it positive and make it uplifting and aspirational and inspirational. And I love being a part of that. And so it's something that I know down the line that my kids and my kids' kids and their kids are going to look up and go, oh, look when Mom and Dad and you guys did this show, and look at our celebrating, family and what family is. And so it's been really fun just being a part of the whole process.
It's interesting that you bring your kids up, because I was curious, you guys, your family has been in the public eye for a long time, and it helped a lot of people along the way. Has there been not a learning curve, but maybe a comfort curve for you or for anyone in your family, maybe in the earlier days of being in front of the camera and showing the world your lives, where you or anyone else in the family had times of just not necessarily being comfortable yet with all that? It's a lot to deal with on a day-to-day basis, isn't it?
Yeah, when you have 30 people in your house every single day, and cameras and lights, and it's very disruptive. But I also really do like the genre. When the docuseries genre is done right, it's really a compelling and entertaining genre, and we can create shows that are positive and entertaining. And I of course, there are things that we don't share, obviously, but I think the meat and potatoes of who the Peete family is, you get to see how we interact with each other, how we resolve conflict. And we like that. And the thing about like these crews, they become like, they disappear into the wall. And that's when the real stuff comes, because they know how to do that. They know how to just sort of, be in your house and be in your space and stay out of your way. But there are also people that we embrace and have become family to us. So our crew is like family to us as well. But yes, of course, there are things that you don't want to share. There are things that you feel a little uncomfortable. And there are days when you don't want people in the house. But in the end, and especially when we watch the shows, we're like, we're making really good TV. So we're proud of it. And but we've been pretty much over the years a pretty open book. When it took us about 9 years to start talking really publicly about RJ's autism. I think a lot of people think, oh, the day he was diagnosed, the next day we were on an Oprah show, but we weren't. I mean, it took a while, and we were on the Oprah show, but by that time RJ was like 8 years old, and we had really struggled, and we'd struggled within our marriage because of the autism, which can impact marriages. And so we were very transparent about a lot of that early on. So I think people know that we do like to share, and we feel like that helps other people.
Do you kind of get the benefit, especially as social media has become more prevalent, with feedback from people and really getting that sense of the help that you are giving people and them showing their appreciation to you and telling you how much they love what you're doing?
Every day, every single day. There's not a day that goes by where we don't hear it, whether it's social media or if we're traveling in the airport, people walk up to us, or even when we're shooting the show, we visit autism centers. I mean, we have an episode coming up where we take autism families on a simulated, well, it's not simulated, we actually take them through the airport and give them an experience on flying called It's Cool to Fly American. We partnered with American Airlines in Hollywood. And flying was one of the hardest things. The airport, one of the hardest things for kids with autism. I mean, really. And we took them through the whole soup to nuts. We walked them through TSA. We got them at the gate. We taught them how to board. We get on the plane. We taxi around LAX. We revved up the engine like we were going to take off. We did the overhead, put on your seatbelt, because this was a challenge for me and my son, my family. I mean, I'm telling you, when I think back on it, it's a wonder that I didn't get in any kind of altercation. People were so rude and so awful and didn't understand, had no compassion, and not just people on the plane, but even the flight attendants too. People were just uninformed. And so when we were there, we had families walking up to us, in tears, just saying, no one understands how important this program is. And thank you for doing something like this. And, we do it because we know how important it is. And we've had some tough experiences in the airport and on airplanes. RJ used to set off the metal detector all the time because they say, I remember this one TSA agent was like yelling at him, don't touch the sides of the metal detector. I can see his little face right now, little devilish face. And the first thing he did was sides, and then he started flapping and stemming, and then he didn't know what he was doing. Then he took off into the airport, and they wouldn't let me chase after him, and they shut down security. I mean, I'm telling you, we had some drama. So to juxtapose those stories with RJ at 20 years old, walking through the airport with 20, 30 kids with autism and like being the Pied Piper, they were all gravitating towards him. I mean, that's pretty magical. So I'm just so grateful that Hallmark Channel understands that documenting this is so important.
Yeah, that's clearly, something that, I think has led the way for so much more discussion and awareness about this. And, I think you guys continue to do so with everything that you are willing to put out there into the world. Switching gears for a second, a lot of people may not realize, who've only followed certain parts of your career, or maybe have only gotten more familiar with you through your reality shows, but you had a heavy focus earlier in your career in music. I remember you singing the theme song to 21 Jump Street and being behind the theme song to Hangin' with Mr. Cooper. Is that something that kind of still you yearn for a little bit, to get back into the music?
Only in my dreams. That ship is that's what karaoke is for. That's what karaoke is for, Jerry. That's what we need to do. I don't need to be, my daughter is now singing, songwriting, and going to NYU and, pursuing a career in that. I'm just going to let her do that. And I'm going to try to stay in the background and not try to sing on all her records. But I did enjoy, that was my first love. I literally was going out for Jump Street and other things to fund making a demo. I was just trying to make a couple extra bucks to make a demo, and then I had a record deal at Atlantic Records back in the day, and we almost completed the whole thing, and then I ended up going to another record company, and then it just wasn't meant to be. But I still love to sing. I appreciate music so much, and I love that my daughter is carving out her own trail musically.
I got to say, I appreciate the fact that you said you're going to try to stay in the background. You did not commit to it, and I appreciate that, because
no promises.
So, there's so much talk these days. Everyone is reboot happy. Everyone is bringing back things from the 80s and 90s to try to grab those ratings. And of course, your name has to come up in some of the things that you've been involved in. Again, Jump Street, Hangin' with Mr. Cooper, et cetera, et cetera. There's got to be discussions, right? Have you heard anything at any point about anything in the works for the projects that you were known for back in the day?
Yeah, so here we go. Ready? Cooper was pitched to Warner Brothers. Both Mark Curry and I both were on board, and they passed. And we were a little disappointed, but it's all good. You never know. Maybe they'll revisit it again. Because we actually did commit to it. We were attached to it. That just happened like maybe about 4 months ago. Jump Street, you might see a remake, but you won't see a reboot because you're not getting Johnny Depp on that show.
No.
Yeah, I think a remake of Jump Street would be awesome. As me, as the sergeant or detective. Oh, I was detective, so I'd have to go up to captain. So if me as the police chief, yeah, I would do that in a heartbeat. I think when I go back and look at Jump Street and some of the things we were talking about, we were doing everything from guns in school to LGBTQ to AIDS in school and you name it. And then we would do those little corny PSAs at the end. But I swear now that I'm a mom and I look at it, I'm like, I would have wanted my kid to watch this show. So a lot of those themes are right back in the media and so prevalent. Methamphetamine. We did a meth show like in the 80s. No one was even talking about that. So absolutely, I would do a remake of 21 Jump Street in a heartbeat. And then, like I said, poor Cooper didn't get the green light, but you never know.
They'll be back. They'll be back. They always come back. It's a good idea.
Yep.
But I gotta say, I mean, I do appreciate the fact that you and Johnny Depp both did come back and do cameos in the Jump Street movie, the first one, which had to have been a surreal thing to exist. It still seems.
Well, what was surreal was when my kids' friends were like, "Why was your mom randomly in the 21 Jump Street movie?" I was like, why was she randomly just showed up? I was like, and Ryan, my daughter was like, because she was in the TV series. They're like, oh, it was a TV series? Never mind. Never mind. So that was a little bit humbling. It's like, it's the generation that was 30 years ago. I mean, a complete generation ago. So
they thought you were just there to get some extra work or something.
Yeah. Like, why was your mom in one scene in Jump Street? I was like, okay, I guess you didn't get the memo about that. But yeah, so that was pretty interesting.
Crazy. So yeah. I mean, we've talked about all these things that you've done. You've been on every network. You've done all these different types of TV shows. What's something that you haven't done in your career that you would still love an opportunity to do? Some different kind of genre of something or other. What do you have aspirations to do?
I would say I would love to do something in France where I could use this degree in French that I have. Like I would love to do a French TV series and guest star and do something. 21 Jump Street was huge over there. Super, kind of, but Jump Street was giant. They still run those same 101 episodes over and over again. And Johnny is obviously a mega star there. But I would love to do a show in French where I could act in French. I remember going over there years ago and doing a talk show and like not needing an interpreter, and people thought, oh my God, like they looked at me like I had three heads. They could not believe that an actress actually came over and spoke French, and didn't need, so I'm like, yeah. So me and Bradley Cooper, because he speaks French too. So we could do something over there together. So that's goals.
And I would love the idea. First of all, I love the image that I have in my head right now that Johnny Depp walking around in France and the whole country knows him primarily for playing Tom Hansen. And that's like the basis for his entire celebrity there. That would be amazing. Just the idea that they're stuck in 21 Jump Street land and don't care about any of the rest of his career.
Well, they care about all that global stuff too. They care about all the music, but they were obsessed with him in that part. And it's something I think he would rather people forget. But in the end, that was what really catapulted him, and they love it. I mean, when I go to France, people are like, "Oli, Judy Hawks, Oli." They go nuts. They're like, "What?" So that's a goal. I can't wait to do that one day.
What about something stateside?
They will take me to France.
Okay, that sounds like a good idea. But is there anything stateside, something for, over here, any kind of TV show or something on stage or, eh, you know, I guess you're not going back to the recording studio, but.
Well, I record all the time. Like I'll record, and I do. That's like for a hobby, but I don't know. Like I don't think I have the stamina. Listen, my best friend is in En Vogue, and she records and sings. They actually have a new hit out, and like first hit in like 20 years, and they are on the road and dancing and choreography and rehearsals. And she's older than me, and I'm like, oh. So I don't have the stamina. I love to sing, and maybe I would love to do a duet with her and do something, or sing on an En Vogue record or something, or but I really, it's weird. My goals and the things that I want to do really stem more around the philanthropy and the Holly Rod Foundation and like making that an continuing to fundraise for that. Yeah. I never think about, I want to win a Grammy or a Tony or an Oscar, I'm kind of like been practical for too long now, I guess. I gotta walk on the wild side a little bit more.
Well, that's what you're on this show for. That's what we're all about here. Thank you so much. I know that you're, as I said before, super busy, so we'll let you go. But before you get out of here, what is going on as far as the Holly Rod Foundation goes? Where can people follow it, learn more about it, and get involved once they are done listening to this right away?
They can go to hollyrod.org, and we have two big things happening now. We're opening our first flagship RJ's Place in Los Angeles. We have other RJ's Place programs, and those are pre-vocational training centers to help people with autism get jobs. Like our RJ works for the Dodgers, and it's a dream come true for him, and so many other kids like him need this opportunity. And then we have what else we have? Oh, and we have our big 20th anniversary fundraiser in July 14th. We're so excited about that opportunity to do our 20th anniversary. We're honoring Magic Johnson, who has been one of our hugest supporters. There would be no Holly Rod without Magic Johnson, because he has been supportive of us since we started. He came to our very first fundraiser 20 years ago, and it took us this long to get him to let us honor him. So we are so thrilled about that.
Nice. Very nice. So, hey, look, anyone who would like to know more about and get involved with a great organization, you could do no better than the Holly Rod Foundation. And the work that you're doing continues to pay dividends and help so many people. And it was so great to catch up with you, to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining us this week.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
All right. Have a great day.